kabuluhan, pagtahak sa tamang daan. Wakasan ng karahasan sa kababaihan, matutong manindigan sa iyong karapatan. Gabay mo ang batas sa pagsubil ng dahas. Bumangon ka, labanan ng karahasan. Babae, bumangon ka. Halaga sa lipunan, hindi mapapantayan. Bigyang kabuluhan, pagtahak sa tamang daan. Wakasan ng karahasan sa kababaihan, matutong manindigan sa iyong karapatan. Labay mo ang batas sa pagsubil ng dahas. Bumangon ka, labanan ng karahasan. makabuluhan, pagtahak sa tamang daan. Wakasan ng karahasan sa kababaihan, matutong manindigan sa iyong karapatan. Labay mo ang batas sa pagsubil ng dahas. Bumangon ka, labanan ng karahasan.
Isang mapagpalayang umaga sa inyong lahat. Welcome to the online forum on safe spaces for Negrenses, organized by Negros Occidental, Provincial Council for Women. This September 29, 2021, streaming live over YouTube and Facebook. I am Red Dawn Lorente of Negros Occidental Language and Information Technology Center, and I am serving as your host. This year, the PCW Midyear Forum and Assembly was supposed to be a face-to-face gathering last September 10th, but was postponed because of the rising cases of COVID cases in the province. We are glad that through Facebook and YouTube, we can finally have this very important forum with no less than the former Chief Justice of the Supreme Court, Maria Lourdes Sereno, as our keynote speaker. To formally start our forum, let us have the prayer, to be followed by the singing of the Philippine national anthem and the Negros hymn.
In the name of the Father, and of the Son, and of the Holy Spirit. Amen. Heavenly Father, we thank you for the gift of good health and peace that we have enjoyed for so many years. As we find ourselves in this time of crisis today, we ask for your divine intervention and mercy to be upon each of us. Come and guide the minds of those working to discover a treatment to the COVID-19 virus. Grant them wisdom, knowledge, and clarity of mind, so that all peoples will be free from the threat of this ailment. We also pray for the healthcare workers that are standing in the front line of this battle. Father, we thank you for their hearts of service, putting the needs of society before their own, generously responding to the cry of your people. We ask that you will grant them strength and protection as they give of themselves in selfless service. May you fill them with your Holy Spirit as they work to be your healing hands and feet. Father, we also surrender to you all those who have been afflicted with the virus. Grant them your healing grace, merciful Father, so that they may recover swiftly and continue to be witnesses of your love in their lives. Mother Mary, we ask for your intercession in this great time of need. Cover each of us with your blue mantle of protection, so that we may be preserved in good health, to continue to glorify your Son, Jesus Christ. We make this prayer through Christ our Savior and Redeemer. In the name of the Father, and of the Son, and of the Holy Spirit. Amen.
Kayang magiliw kaya sa silanganan, alam ng puso sa dibdib mo'y buhay. Lupang inirang, duyan ka ng magiting, sa manlulupig, di ka pasisingil. Sa dagat at bundok, sa simoy at sa langit mong bughaw, may hilag ang tula at awit sa paglayang minamahal. Ang kislap ng watawat mo'y tagumpay na nagdinigdig. Ang bituin at araw niyang kailan pa may magdidilim. Lupa ng araw ng walhagit pansinta, buhay ay langit sa piling mo. Ang hinigaya na pag may mga aki, ang mamatay ng dahil sa'yo. kalamay matinig sa kaluluwa, nanagantos ka nagais na ako. Ang matuod-tuod na Negrosanon, isa katawa nga mabigalang tao, sa una dampuan na isakripisyo sa kauswagan sa sikla tao. Ang matuod-tuod na Negrosanon, isa katawa nga mabigalang tao, sa una dampuan na isakripisyo, pagbulikan, paghigain, paghigugmod, dapat maghari, para sa kauswagan sa sikla tao.
The ongoing pandemic provides a significant insight to relearn the lesson, particularly so among Negrense women. We are hoping that you are all healthy and safe amidst the COVID-19 pandemic. It really warms our heart that you took time off your busy schedules to join us today. At this forum is ongoing, we encourage you to leave a greeting in the comment section. Type your name and the city or municipality where you're joining us from. We would like to know, and we will address each one of you in a short while. And lastly, we encourage you to share this webinar to your networks. Let me remind you to fill out the online attendance right now. The link to the online attendance is pinned in the comment section, or you may scan the QR code flashed on your screen. Not only PCW members and local women councils from component cities and municipalities are joining us this morning, but also we have sisters and brothers from other parts of the country and the world. While you do the online attendance, let me recognize our virtual audience who are watching through YouTube. Again, this forum is being broadcasted through YouTube. Let me read some of your comments right now. Good morning and hello. Thank you for joining us, Love May Ilarmo. It's so nice to be here. We are also so happy to have you here. We have Lady Love Villaflor. Good morning from Cabancalan City. May Ann Gundao. Good morning from Contact Center Services. 192 guests, that's the batch. We also have here Sweetie Bendoy. Good morning. Maya Claire, watching from Bago City. Love May Ilarmo, from Murcia, Negros Occidental. Ling Amato, watching from Cabancalan City. We also have here Sweet Chua, Anna Marie Belenson from Murcia. Keep those greetings coming. We would love to read them, and we will acknowledge you throughout or during the duration of this live session. And now, to officially welcome us all and to help us unpack the discourse of today, may I call in the Provincial Council for Women Vice Chair. Let us give a glad hand to Miss Mary Ann Colmenares.
Good morning, everybody. It is an honor, and I hope you're all fine today. It is an honor and a privilege for me to welcome all of you on behalf of the Provincial Council of Women to today's Midyear Forum with a very relevant theme, Safe Spaces para sa Negrosanon. What is a safe space? It is described as a place intended to be free of bias, conflict, criticism, or potentially threatening actions, ideas, or conversation. As the title says, I hope that our forum today will help us to think not only on what we are all doing, but also on how we are doing things so that in the end, we deliver the results that improve both the condition and the position of women in our province. At the outset, I wish to thank the speakers for accepting our invitation today to share their experiences. I recognize that they have taken time and made the extra effort to prepare the presentations, and to this, I wish to commend them. As we all participate in this forum, let us all reflect on how we can capitalize on our different perspectives and mandates to accelerate the achievement of of safe spaces in the community we are a part of, and the LGUs we belong, and the LGUs we belong to, and the LGUs we represent? Do we have an opportunity to change the paradigm through which we work so as to respond more proactively to emerging issues? If so, what can we do differently or before than what we are doing now? Negrense women have known to be very strong and known to rise above the challenges that confront them. And while we live in very challenging times now, I am certain that we will emerge from today's program renewed, restored, energized, and inspired. Ladies, welcome to our safe space. Good morning to all of you. Thank you.
Thank you, PCW Vice Chair Colmenares. Let us give her a virtual round of applause again. The PCW, a body created by the Provincial Ordinance Number 54 Series of 1994, has the task to assist the provincial government in the mainstreaming of gender and development. It is composed of 31 local government unit representatives and selected women sectoral leaders. The selected women or the Secretariat of the PCW is the Provincial Social Welfare and Development Office. Thus, it is fitting and that we also hear a message from the PCW sister and partner in the advocacy for women empowerment and gender equality and the promotion of violence-free homes and communities. Ladies and gentlemen, let us give a virtual applause to the OIC of the Provincial Development, Social Welfare and Development Office, Ms. Merly Lopez Garcia.
Just listening to the evening news of daily cases of COVID-19 by the thousand reported sends spine tingling sensation of how and when this pandemic will end. Every Filipinos are vigilant and careful not to get infected, and this is a sign of how resilient Filipinos are. I kept tab of the news expecting that 12 to 17 years old children can now be vaccinated because I have a 14-year-old apo and I am worried sick. We are fortunate, Negrenses, to have a governor who believes in science and not on empty rhetorics. This science have helped Negros Occidental to maintain our status to MGCQ. The hardest part in this science is to balance with health and economics, trying to keep the province economically viable. This science has made understand that observance of minimum health standards can save lives. We are also fortunate that Negros Occidental vaccination is running smoothly and people are now well aware of the protection this vaccine give and provide. Not until we reach 70% fully vaccinated Negrenses can we part our guards down. For our participants and partners, since we are still halfway to the herd immunity status, I request each and everyone to help the government in this fight against pandemic. Simply wearing of mask, a face shield, and physical distancing is all the PSWD is asking you to observe, follow, and actively implement. There will never be a normal times in the next 5 years. This virus has enormous capabilities of adapting to its host, to borrow the words of Dr. Fauci of the U.S. Center for Infectious Diseases. Each one of us follow, observe, and implement minimum health protocols. We will survive this scourge. We need a disciplined Negrency to succeed. Please, to reiterate, kept physical distance and not less than 1 meter apart, and wear face mask and face shield will be the best. And encourage friends and families to get vaccinated. We can overcome this. Avance Negrense. Thank you.
Thank you, Ms. Garcia. The father of our province plays an important role in providing safe spaces for women and girls. And we are happy that he is always supportive of our gender and development and anti-vow programs. Now, let us give a virtual applause to the Honorable, the father of the province of Negros Occidental, the Honorable Eugenio Jose V. Lacson.
Good day to all. The concern of maltreatment and violence against women are among the most pervasive concerns society has been confronted with. And in order to address such deep-rooted issues, we need to create all the necessary means, methods, and mechanisms. As Governor and Chairman of the GOD Focal Point System, I fully support the proposed Safe Spaces Ordinance, authored by Board Member Rita Gatuslao, to reinforce the local implementation of Republic Act 11313, the Safe Spaces Act in Negros Occidental. At this point in our society's gender advocacy journey, a lot has already been said to uplift, empower, and protect women. And now is the time not just for assurances, but for concrete actions to make sure that our vision for a gender-responsive province that promotes equal access and opportunities to women in a peaceful and sustainable environment will be actualized. Good intentions by themselves are not enough. In order for the Negrense women to attain their utmost potential, we need to make their environment conducive for such goal. Here in the province, we have various programs, projects, and activities supported by the GOD Fund and various structures as the Provincial GOD Focal Point System, Provincial Committee Against Trafficking, Child Pornography and Violence Against Women, Committee on Decorum and Investigation, and many other enabling mechanisms to make our province a safe place for women and girls. Our various academic and vocational trainings and scholarship also contribute to the educational well-being of our women and contribute to their eventual economic empowerment. We recently launched GOD Awards and incentives for individuals and organizations working for women empowerment and gender equality, as well as for women in sports. With this, we hope to document, acknowledge, and honor the outstanding Negrense gender advocates, and in the process, inspire the future generation to do the same. To everyone present, thank you for doing your best to safeguard the rights of the Negrense women. May you continue to be tireless and resolute in your cause. May God continue to bless all our undertakings. Avance Negrense.
Thank you very much, Governor Bong Lacson. We truly feel your support to our gender and development and women's program. Thank you for all your efforts in trying to keep Negrense safe, not only from violence at home and in our communities, but also during this time of COVID pandemic. Again, thank you, Governor. At this point, I would like to remind our virtual participants to kindly do your online attendance right now. We have pinned the link to the online attendance in the comment section or right in the description bar of this video. You may also scan the QR code flashed on your screen. Thank you. And now, for our forum proper, the auditor of the PCW, the former Presidential Commissioner for the Urban Poor, Ms. Joy Harabello, will introduce our keynote speaker.
Hello everybody! Good day to everyone! Our guest speaker today is of a rare breed. In a world where courage and bravery are monopolized by men, she came to challenge and continue. Where a few had started and many had left, where others bowed down to intense pressure, she stood firm, unwavering. She is a living proof that true courage is forged through adversity. She rose from humble beginnings to become the country's first ever female Chief Justice in 2012. She attended public, elementary, and high school, then pursued higher education through scholarships. She graduated valedictorian from the UP College of Law in 1984 and holds a Master's of Law degree specializing in law and economics and in international trade law from the University of Michigan. She was a law professor at the UP for nearly 20 years, and the World Trade Organization recognized her stellar credentials with her 1998 appointment as counselor of their appellate body in Geneva, Switzerland. She was also involved in a successful international litigation as co-counsel for the Republic of the Philippines and was AIM's executive director for their policy center. With her modernizing outlook and firm belief in the power of technology, she co-founded a corporation that developed the first annotated electronic research system in Philippine law. Her tenure as Chief Justice is marked by far-reaching reforms, including e-courts, automated hearings, case decongestion, continuous trials, and expanded small claims courts. At the heart of her reform program is the strong conviction that justice and the law's protection should be accessible and responsive to the most vulnerable Filipinos. Because she was a staunch defender of judicial independence, she was subjected to intense persecution. Now, she is a major voice for people-centered change in Philippine society. She is an advocate for respect for the dignity of every Filipino, integrity in public service, and just governance. Friends and countrywomen, my honor to introduce the great woman among us, Chief Justice Maria Lourdes Sereno.
Magandang umaga, mga Negrosanon, especially the women who are in this audience today. A very, very warm thank you and hello to all of you. Salamat po, no? Nakakatuwa po, kapatid, yung introduction mo. Salamat at sinishare mo kung ano mga nangyari. What a woman, Chief Justice, tried to do when she was in the Supreme Court. Thank you for that humbling introduction. And it is my pleasure to be here with you today. And I would like to especially acknowledge our very dynamic governor, Governor Eugenio Bong Lacson, the chair of the Sangguniang Panlalawigan Committee on Women, Rita Gatuslao. May I also acknowledge the chair of the Provincial Council for Women, Attorney Andrea C., and her vice chair, Mary Ann Colmenares, Annalisa Soriano, Vice Mayor of the Municipality of Kawayan and an advisor of the Provincial Council of Women. Merly Garcia, thank you for your warm words of advice. Mary June Castro, Tina Basa, and all the other hosts and those who have been taking part in this program. Maraming salamat po at mabuhay kayong lahat. So, binigyan po ako ngayon ng napakabigat na trabaho upang pag-usapan kung ano ang ibig sabihin ng women empowerment at anong ibig sabihin ng women safe spaces at anong kailangan upang umunlad ang bansa natin. My role, according to those who invited me, is not to just talk about Negros women because it is hands down masyadong maliwanag na ang dynamic ng mga taga Negros na mga kababaihan. So hindi na po natin masyadong ididiin yung puntos na yon kasi kilala naman po ng mga taga Negros ang kagalingan ng mga kababaihan ng Negros Occidental, lalong-lalo na. Ngunit ang kailangan ko pong gawin, what I need to do is how to connect your dreams as the women of Negros Occidental to the task of nation building, and in particular to the concept of creating safe spaces. So allow me to talk about adopting more aspects. Hindi ho lahat, kasi hindi ho kayang kuhain lahat ng aspeto ng women's views on creating safe spaces. And allow me to have a more holistic view of safe spaces other than the technical view that is provided in the law right now. What I want is to elevate and expand our views far more than what the Safe Spaces Act has been telling us to do, which is the freedom, which is basically asking the question rather of paano ba magiging safe ang Pilipinas. And for this particular morning, I'd like to change a bit the paradigm with which we are talking about safety. Kasi yung Safe Spaces Act, tatanggalin yung discrimination, yung pambubuli, yung catcalling, yung sexist remarks, yung sexual harassment. Pero sa akin, ganito po ang, why don't we look at it from another point of view? It is not the absence of fear, danger, risk, or lack, although it is a good social policy na bawasan ang mga ito. Because that's an impossibility. From the moment we are born, we face danger, risk, or lack. And although policymakers try to make it more comfortable for all of us, especially women, still, even if they put in the best thought out law, we are still not exempted from the fear, danger, risk, or lack from that situation simply because we are human. But rather, may I ask you to look at this concept? Okay? What I want you to look at is that safety, yung safety po, yung kaligtasan na pinag-uusapan sa Kongreso ng Provincial Council of Women. Pwede po ba nating tingnan that safety is the assurance that we are in a good place? Ibig sabihin po, kahit ano pang circumstances natin, mahusay ang kinalalagyan natin. Where we should be. That we are who we should be. That we are striving for what we should be. Because life is never constant, but it is always dynamic. Laging gumagalaw. So, kung tama ang direksyon, tama ang pagkakakilala natin at ang pagiging ako o tayo, no? Magkakasamang mga babae, ay akma. Correct naman kasi ang direksyon natin at proper ang ating or appropriate ang ating pagkakakilala sa identity natin, we have a significant degree of safety because yung kinalalagyan natin at kung sino tayo, yung awareness natin ay mas nakadikit tayo sa essence o buod natin. I hope this is making sense for all of us, especially yung mga nanay who are very worried about the question of nalilito ba ang mga anak nila, kung sino sila, kung anong identity nila, kung anong tingin sa kanila ng pamilya nila, ng Diyos, ng lipunan. It is when everything is integrated. There is more integration that there is safety. Kasi malinaw po kung kilala nyo kung sino kayo, kahit anong mangyayari, kahit anong pagdaanan nyo, kaya po. Now, ang ating question next, that may apply to those of us, individuals, na malinaw sa atin kung sino tayo. Pero paano po kung halimbawa, we are talking about a society? Hindi lang yung sarili nating safety, kundi yung safety ng buong bansa. Kasi ang tema nyo, paano ididikit ang women empowerment at ang pag-ambag nyo sa pagbuo ng isang lipunan o isang bayan. No? Ito po ang nakita kong ginawa ng konstitusyon. Ang ginawa ng konstitusyon, nag-attempt siya na i-drawing ang outline ng safety. At nakikita po yon sa preambolo ng Constitution at sa iba pang mga provisions ng Constitution, where in the preamble, a just and humane society is the highest social goal. Ibig sabihin, nagkasundo-sundo ang mga Pilipino that in coming together as a people, we are going to enshrine the highest goal of building a just and humane society. And in trying to do that, we are trying to find out if the values of truth, justice, love, freedom, peace, and equality. Yun pong ginawa ng Constitution, and I will explain that later. And then, nag-define din ng Constitution kung sino ang dapat must i-ensure na safe. The Constitution tried to define or enumerate those who are, in the view of the drafters and the people who ratified it, are vulnerable. Ito po yung children and youth, women, elderly, disabled, the indigenous groups, poverty-stricken sectors, in general term na poor, small farmers, small fishermen, small businesses and business people, and labor, especially unorganized labor and informal sectors. When the Constitution tried to define that, doon po sila nagkaroon ng attempt to target safety. So, focus po tayo. Para po tayo magka-create ng safe society, ang goal po natin pala ay pag-build ng just and humane society. Okay. Okay, so yan po, no? Okay, nandyan na tayo. Alright, so dun tayo sa next slide ko po, no? Kasi kung papansinin nyo po, habang tayo ay nagtratry na mag-build up ng justice at humaneness, ibig sabihin yung katarungan at pagiging makatao sa lipunan, the more we feel safe. Bakit po? Pag mas malaki ang presence ng justice, mayroon po tayong siguradong matatakbuhan kapag inaapi. At pag nagkakaroon ng conflict sa society o komunikasyon na basic sa society, alam po natin na pag malakas ang pagiging humane, ay makatao at hindi malupit ang pagtrato natin sa isa't isa. Kasi mas positive at goal-oriented tayo, mas nababawasan yung ating mga negatives. Ayun po, no? So we will now go to the next slide po, no? Pero, pag pinag-iisipan natin, hindi naman talaga naging just and humane ang Philippine society. Kayo po mismo sa Negros Occidental, ang dami-dami nyo pong nadaanang massacre situations, panggigipit. Kung ganun po, bakit hindi natin ever naabot ang pagiging totoong safe? Why? Ang tingin ko po, kasi hindi natin ever tiningnan yung social goal na inarticulate natin para sa sarili natin. Hindi po tayo nag-uusap at all. Paano ba maka-establish ng just and humane society? No? Hindi natin tinake seriously na ang social qualities or ang virtues na truth, justice, freedom, love, peace, and equality, hindi natin isinapuso. Agree po ba kayo sa ganong point, no? Kasi pag tingnan nyo po for a few minutes, I will try to visualize for you yung next slide kung saan nandun yung drawing ng power structure. At ididikit natin yung drawing na ito ng power structure sa concept ng just and humane society. So next slide na po tayo, no? So dun sa next slide natin, ito po, no? Okay. Yung pinapakita po natin ay ang Diyos ang nasa taas. Nasaan po ito? Nasa preamble. We, the sovereign Filipino people, tayo pong lahat, imploring the aid of Almighty God. So, mas mataas ang Diyos kasi humihingi nga tayo ng tulong. Rine-recognize natin na personal at Almighty ang God. Tapos, sabi natin, in order, tayo po, no? To build, tayo ang magbibuild ng just and humane society. So, anong highest social goal natin is a just and humane society. Tapos, marami pang mga phrases na dapat independent tayo, dapat democratic tayo, at mayroong rule of law. Pero ito ang gusto kong ilagay ng mga virtues na makakatulong sa pag-pursue ng just and humane society. Na dapat daw, according to the preamble, we must be governed by a regime of truth, justice, freedom, love, equality, and peace. Di po ba? Yun ang kailangan nating tingnan po. So, kung ganun po pala na tayo mismo, then the Negrosanons, especially the sovereign Negrense women, must really push for the creation of that just and humane society and must take the lead. At itong nasa baba po, no, na nandito pong mga boxes, it emphasizes na ang mga political leaders, which are in the legislative branch or in the executive branch, and the judges, who are in the judicial branch, and all other government officials are but servants of the people. They're but public servants. The power remains in the people, at ang powers ng government and every government official is but temporary. Lahat ng tumatakbo sa political office, temporary lang yan. We're just going to give them a term of office, 3 years or 6 years. Lahat ng appointees sa ibang branches at sa ibang offices, temporary lang yan. Meron silang compulsory term of office. And kung halimbawa, hindi nila gagawin ang kanilang trabaho, hindi sila tumutulong sa pag-build ng just and humane society, we, the women of the province of Negros Occidental, must take them into account. Bakit kayo hindi tumutulong upang itayo ang just and humane society and end their term of office? There is the role on the part of us women and the taong bayan in general to hold all public servants to account. Yun po ang basic concept natin. Kasi kung hindi natin gagawing goal-oriented ang ating mga galaw sa lipunan, mas malilito po tayo. We will be locked into a thinking na it's the absence of, which is our safety, instead of it is progressing towards a high goal, which is our safety. So ang next challenge ko po sa inyo, then can women make the safety goal of a just and humane society its leadership goal? Specifically, pasensya na po, can the Provincial Council of Women and can the Sangguniang Lalawigan Committee on Women propose that for the province of Negros Occidental, it will show its leadership in building a just and humane society with the virtues of justice, truth, peace, love, freedom, and equality. Ang tingin ko po ang sagot dyan, definitely, yes. Siyempre po, wala namang kaduda-duda na yan talaga ang dapat at kakayanan ng mga kababaihan, especially for this audience, the province of Negros Occidental. Kasi napatunayan nyo na po time and again yan. Hindi ko na ho kailangang enumerate from the time of our forefathers dreamt of a Filipinas that was free of Spanish colonial rule to the time that Filipinos, men and women alike, built their own constitutional republic and fought against the new occupiers, the Americans, to the time that Filipino women fought against the Japanese new occupiers. Malinaw po na talagang ang laki ng ambag ng mga kababaihan, katapangan nila at kagalingan sa pagpanday ng ating bansa. And it is so clear to us that from the time that we tried to forge a conversation again, after martial law, women have been in the lead. We have had 2 women leaders. But we are basically saying, by the fact that you're coming together, kulang pa. Dagdagan pa natin. So ito po, ng next slide ko, ipopost ko po ang challenge sa atin kasi nakikita ko po itong mga phenomenon na ito. Hindi po ba ang galing-galing mag-build ng peace at ng community ang mga kababaihan? My own personal experience here in Negros is that your women have been contributing. For example, my NGO, the movement that I lead is a beneficiary of your Mingo Meals. I am collaborating with many of your women leaders in talking about a national development framework. You have gone through a lot. Remember in the 1970s, in the 1980s, when malnutrition here in your region reached its peak to as much as 70% of your children. But you did not let that dark part of your history put you down. But rather, you are now leading in trying to even stop malnutrition in many poor communities across the nation. You have also built so many NGOs that have created livelihood programs for the poor. You have been at the forefront of building charitable institutions. Kayo po ang nangunguna at nakikita ko ang dami, hindi ko na kayang enumerate ngayon kasi kilala nyo naman sino kayo. Kayo, kung wala po kayo at asa lang tayo sa gobyerno, kawawa po ang mga Pilipino. Instead, your NGOs, you, Negrense women, have been leading in many of these initiatives. You have also started having peace initiatives in villages, tribes, and other conflict situations. I remember po maraming stories, especially in Mindanao, where the women leaders in villages told the men, if you don't stop fighting, if you don't enter the peace table, we will not have cordial relations with you, even in our own household. We will keep on telling you, go and seek peace, go and seek peace, go and seek peace. So even our babaylans, even our village elder women, have been at the forefront of talking to the people to show them the value of peace. And when our country, including your area, have been hit by disaster, such as yung mga typhoon, I remember sobrang grabe nun in my mind. I could see in my mind the picture of Typhoon Frank. And then when I visited Bacolod, parang wala. Parang you were able to get over that and build up better. Ang ganda-ganda ng ginagawa nyo. Even though you had been hit badly, kaya nyong bumangon. So nauuna kayo sa disaster relief, nauuna kayo sa hunger relief, at you are helping all your communities to rebuild better. Kaya ang galing-galing nyo po, peace and community builders kayo. Kaya nga dito sa aking next slide, I want to emphasize, just imagine, no? Yung leadership nyo, marami sa inyo nagpapatakbo ng educational institutions. Marami sa inyo nagbibigay ng child care and youth care systems. Mga babae nagpapalaganap nito. You have been putting up a lot of rehabilitation centers and programs para doon sa mga naabuso, doon na domestic violence, ng mga trauma, ng crimes. You are there at the forefront. Maraming medical programs being led by women, and our women doctors continue to be the dynamic leaders of their different fields of specialization, including general and public health care. And hindi ko pwedeng escape ang ideyang ito na many nationalist and democracy struggles have been called by women, including many NGOs right now who are fighting, for example, authoritarian tendencies of government. Okay po. So magaling talaga ka ang mga babaeng Pilipina Masyadong magaling ang mga Negrense women. Clear na clear yon sa akin na ang history ng bansa natin ay hindi magiging forged na ganitong kaganda kung wala ang contribution ng mga kababaihan from Negros Occidental. But I want us to think deeply about these things. Bakit po kaya? Bakit po parang feeling proud tayo na mayroong ganitong klaseng unique contribution ang mga babae na parang nablablank nila, napipigilan nila yung karahasan, nababawasan nila yung mga sharp angles, yung masakit na pantusok ng mga siko ng mga lalaki at ang pagkabrusko ng lalaki. Ano ang kaya nating ibigay? Alam niyo po, malinaw sa marami sa inyo na ako nagre-reflect very, very deeply on the Bible and the Constitution. At ito po ang aking nakita. May special ambag po kasi ang kababaihan. Tingnan niyo po, no? Ito. Okay. So, dito na tayo sa next slide, no? Akala po ng marami na ang religion, especially ang Christian faith, ang babaeng ideal sa Christian faith ay yung mahinhin, mahiyain. Naku po, opposite. Opposite po. Basahin niyo po ang Proverbs 31:10-31. Ano po ang Proverbs? Ito po ay libro sa Biblia, sa Old Testament, na sinasabi anong pinakamainam na paraan ng pagpapatakbo ng lipunan. At dahil masyadong mahaba yung 21 passages na yan, hindi ko na kayang basahin. Kundi basahin niyo po, no? Anong sinasabi sa Proverbs 31? Blessed is the woman who, naku po, ang sabi doon sa Proverbs 31, nagpapatakbo ng agribusiness. Ano po? Yes, as early as 3,500 years ago. Pinupuri na. 3,500 years ago, sa Jewish thought, pinupuri na ang mga, sabi doon sa Proverbs 31 po, no? A woman considers a field and plants a vineyard on it. She rolls up her sleeves and her arms are strong. Just imagine, parang sitwasyon nyo. Kayong mga kababaihan ng Negros Occidental, sisipatin nyo yung lupa, then you will say, this is good for growing food. And then you yourself, roll up your sleeves and plant the agricultural product that you want to grow so that you can feed your community. Just imagine, the Bible has been lauding women in agribusiness. And then she says, the Bible says, from the loins, her weaving loom. Yung pag-textile, no? She weaves loom and her candle does not go out at night. Ibig sabihin, maagang gumigising. Siguro yung Jewish woman na pinupuri dito, 4 a.m. pa lang gising na, at nagpapaandar na ng mga weaving loom to produce textile. And then yung na-produce na textile, trine-trade niya sa mga barko na dumadaong sa Jerusalem and exchanging it for other goods. So ang babae in the time of the Proverbs was already in trading like your business leaders. And then it says she extends her hand to her household staff and they wait for their food from her. And her children are well trained. So home builder, homemaker, nanay, at siya pa ang nag-train sa buong household staff niya. And she feeds the poor. The poor in the community bless her for she brings out help to them, giving them food and warm clothing. So sila pang mga babae 3,500 years ago, nagpapatakbo ng malalaking ng mga importante na charity work. Parang kayo. And she is a trusted confidante of her husband who is a city leader. Ibig sabihin, sabi niyo, the heart of her husband confidently trusts her. Ibig sabihin, yung mga hirap na problema ang asawa niya kasi leader sa city na appoint siguro, na atasan na maging leader, kailangan niyang konsultahin ang asawa niya Kasi wise yung woman who is admired in Proverbs 31. Who is a woman to be admired? Who is a virtuous woman? Yun po ang opening ng Proverbs 31:10-31. Who is a virtuous woman? She is greatly to be treasured more than many rubies. Biruin niyo po. Then, meron po sa Bible, as early as, earlier than when the Proverbs were written, sa Judges 4:4-23. Meron pong babae, tawag sa kanya si Deborah, na wise woman na buong nation of Israel would go to her. Yung mga conflicts nila, ipapa-judge sa kanya. So she was a prophet. She would talk about what God or Yahweh was telling the city, and she would judge. So very ancient ito. It's even earlier than 3,500 years. And nung nanghina po si Barak, who was supposed to be the military leader of the nation, siya ang parang head ng military. Sabi ni Deborah, lumaban kayo. Sabi ni Barak, ayoko, kailangan sumama ka. So naging military leader din si Deborah. Sabi ni Deborah, okay, sasama ako sa'yo. Kung ayaw mong lumusob nang hindi ako kasama, matanda na siyang babae. Pero sasabihin ko sa'yo, Barak, ang the honor of this battle will not go to you, but to a woman. Indeed, it was really a woman who killed the military general who was leading the invading forces, si Jael. So Jael, a woman, also was the one who was able to kill the military leader. So ibig sabihin, there are times iwawarn ng mga kababaihan who have the Spirit of the Lord, ang mga kalalakihan, hindi kasi kayo gumagawa ng trabaho nyo, ng inyong role, then it will be given to women. Ganda na po, ang dami-dami talagang potential natin na nakikita. Okay? Kasi, tingnan nyo po, hindi ho totoo na anti-women ang Bible. Hindi po. That's not true. It is very promotive of women. Ito ang pinakaunang nag-angat ng babae to a higher position than any other nation. Nasa Old Testament at nasa New Testament. Tingnan niyo po naman how God used the characteristics of women to talk about himself. When God was talking about his faithfulness to his people, ang ginamit niya ay ang analogy o pagkaka-exemplify ay babae. And he said, I can never forget you, my beloved, as a mother who can never forget a child. Nandun po yung kantang, nakaukit sa aking palad ang yung pangalan. Parang inukit po, God was talking about carving the flesh of his palm to write down our names because he can never forget each one of us. He can never forget a single child of his. Bawat iyak nyo, tinatandaan ng Lord pag kayo ay umiiyak sa Kanya. And then, do sa Matthew 23:37, even Jesus himself, 2,000 years ago, paano niya gustong i-save ang people of Jerusalem? Ginamit niya female characteristics. Sa Matthew 23:37, sabi niya, Jerusalem, Jerusalem, how I had wanted to embrace you as a mother hen brings her wings and put her chicks under her wings, but you would not let me. Ibig sabihin ng mother hen, ang concept ng mothering ay kayang mag-save at mag-comfort. Isi-save niya, isi-shield ni Jesus ang body niya upang bigyan ng proteksyon ang mga mahal niyang asang katauhan. I want to save all of you. I want to put you and to be safe and warm within the safety of my wings. Ayaw niyo lang kasi. Ayaw niyo lang kasi. So very prominent po na pag nag-uusap si Lord about safety, about faithfulness, about not ever forgetting the love He has for His people, female characteristics. Female characteristics. Yung nasa sa inyo, ang ginagamit niya. So ang tingin ko po, kailangan ng women ng safe spaces. Totoo po yun. At we should continue fighting for against misogyny, yung pambabastos, pambabalahura sa kababaihan, yung mga sexual harassment, yung mga sexual innuendos, yung hindi ka aakyat sa career mo unless you give in to the sexual favors being asked by your boss, o hindi ka bibigyan ng oportunidad, tuloy po dating labanan to. Pero ang aking proposition, tayo po, we can create many, many more spaces for all those who are vulnerable. Yung in-enumerate ko po kanina, na in-identify ng Constitution ng mga vulnerable sectors. Ang tingin ko po, ang proposition ko, women can, in fact, should lead. Kasi sa maraming babae, marami sa kababaihan na ang meaningful life nila is only a life lived for others. Tingnan niyo po, di ba? Hanggang kaapu-apuhan natin, talagang magsasakripisyo tayo. Kahit mahina na tayo, ano pa kaya ang pwede kong gawin para sa apo ko? Yun lagi ang tanong natin eh. Hindi yung, paano ba ako pagsisilbihan ng apo ko? Hindi eh. Ano pa kaya ang pwede kong gawin para sa mga apo ko? Normatively, hindi na natin obligasyon ang mga apo natin. Pero ganun po ang ating puso, tumitibok. Normal po yun sa atin, natural. So malinaw po sa akin, ang mga babaeng Pinay ay laki-laki ng great ng capacity for self-sacrifice. Intelligent sila, creative sila, at ang tingin ko, sila ang pinakamahusay para mag-create ng safe spaces para dun sa mga sinasabi nating vulnerable sectors. Kasi kaya nilang magkalinga, uy, kumusta ka na? Kaya nilang yumapos, umiiyak ka ba? At the same time, organized ang utak ng mga babae. Nandiyan na ba, nabili na ba yung mga pinamalengke, may pagkain para bukas, magkano ang budget, 1 week, 1 month, kailangan pa tayo mag-raise ng mga donations kasi kukulangin tayo. Ikaw, Minda, punta ka doon sa ganyan na, tumulong ka sa barangay. I-allocate na natin ngayon, ano ang mga barangay na ating aasikasuhin ngayon. Magaling ang mga babae, instinctive yun. Siguro, kasi train tayo, bata pa tayo, ganun na ang ating orientation eh. Kailangan gawin lahat ng assignment, kailangan A o 98 lahat ng grado sa ating card sa eskwelahan. Pero pagdating sa bahay, kailangan tayo magsaing, kailangan mag-alaga sa mga bata, kailangan magwalis, kailangan mag-ayos ng mga kwarto. Sinasabay-sabay natin yan, kaya natin yan. Kaya ang lakas-lakas pa, even though our hands are working at ang mouth natin nagsasalita, nagbibigay ng instructions, yung puso natin lagi ring tumitibok. Ay nako, umiiyak si Itoy. Ay nako, nakakaawa naman yung iho na parang kawawa naman yung magtataho, nasunugan. Tulungan natin. Yung empathetic at listening side ng babae is very strong. Kasi ang dami sa ating require from our youth. Yung pala, even in the Bible, recognize na yun. Na may wiring ang karamihan ng babae na ganito. So we provide aside to the building of a just and humane society that's very strong from us. At malinaw naman po, pati nung ako'y nagtuturo ng batas, mas maraming babaeng mas masipag kaysa sa mga lalaking mga estudyante ko. Pasensya na po, yun ang katotohanan. Kaya nga, ito po ang aking proposition. Ngayong hirap na hirap ang sitwasyon ngayon sa pandemya, we need more women. Mas maraming babaeng tutulong sa pandemya, mas mabuti. Kaya yung military-oriented attention to the pandemic is, I think, wrong. We should have health workers, we should have trauma workers, we should have community organizers. Sila ang dapat na malakas na boses sa task force at hindi parang dominated ng mga lalaki that do not understand the need of human nature for continued assurance, gentleness, and care. Tingnan niyo po, kasi ang pandemya is a pinagsabay na health and safety issue. So kailangan ng care, kailangan na organized ng itong care na ito. Kasi medical care ito, magaling ang babae sa ganun. Filipino women and mothers, kaya po nilang i-build yung transition from lockdown isolation to a more normal life. Di ba po, yung mga anak natin, napapadala na natin, halimbawa, sa Maynila o sa Amerika for further studies, sa atin tumatakbo at yayapos. And then, sino ang nagbibigay ng assurance sa kanila that everything will be alright? Nanay, kaya nating magbigay ng transition, guidance, and care, emotional strength to our people who need help transitioning from this very, very traumatic lockdown to a more normal life. And kaya ng mga babaeng mag-nurture ng emotional needs and traumas that have been inflicted on our people. Kaya ayan po, no? Anong tingin ko po? Ito po ang call ko. We can increase more safe spaces for the more vulnerable. And even while women are themselves vulnerable, they can be the ones who can lead more spaces, safe spaces in Philippine society. Towards what? What is our safety goal? A just and humane society. So my call is, let more women lead. At nakakatuwa po, mabuhay po ang women of the province of Negros Occidental. Mabuhay po ang mga kababaihan dito sa inyong rehiyon, Region 6, at ang mga kababaihan sa buong Pilipinas. Let more women lead. God bless you, and thank you very much. You can contact me dito po individually for all your initiatives or questions. Sumasagot po ako dito sa aking Facebook page, Twitter page, at Instagram. At din po, kung meron kayong gustong malaman kung ano mga pinagagawa namin ngayon, especially na pinag-uusapan na po ang voters education, ito po ang aking email address for which you can ask all questions about our activities. Andyan po, naka-flash na yan sa screen. Maraming salamat po. Thank you, and to God be all the glory.
Please stay in our virtual stage, CJ Sereno. Again, thank you very much to our former Supreme Court Chief Justice, Maria Lourdes Sereno, for sharing her precious time with us and for your very beautiful and compelling message, especially for the women and the GAD advocates of Negros Occidental. According to you, CJ Sereno, it is pertinent to articulate our social goal, which is to establish just and humane society. So that's a definite yes for making safety and peace building as our leadership goals. And right, we know that usually there is no open forum session or Q&A after the keynote speaker, but we would love to have an interaction with you since this is such a very rare moment and also a rare opportunity for us Negrenses to converse with our former Chief Justice. Thank you. So we have seen some, or we would like to encourage our virtual audience and participants, women leaders and GAD advocates who are joining with us this morning to kindly type or comment your questions. If you have any questions or clarifications to CJ Sereno, please do it in our comment section.
Salamat, ha? Thank you
Yes.
very much. I'm ready for your questions.
Yes, CJ, and your last topic talking about peace building in the country and the community is so much in line with the celebration of the National Peace Building Month.
Thank you.
Okay. All right. So at this point, we do not have any comments yet in our comment section. May we ask our facilitators and some of our technical assistants to help us collect and collate questions coming from our virtual audience. Okay, so perhaps we could hear some questions. Okay, we have here, CJ, we have now, can we ask this question? Okay.
Yeah.
So,
Okay,
all right. So I think Attorney Andrea C. would like to ask and very much curious to know this one. If CJ Sereno is running for the 2022 elections.
Yeah, okay. Tapos why or why not pa, no? Don?
Yes. Thank you for adding that up. Yes, CJ.
Okay. Are you running for the 2022 elections? Why not? Ang 2022 elections will determine a lot in our country, no? nakita ko, for example, when Region 6, nakita ko, siningle out kayo eh. And it pains me, nasasaktan ako when, because I know and I have been to your province and the other provinces of Region 6, napakalaki ng hanga ko sa ability nyo to build consensus, no? So when you were being singled out na yung mga projects nyo daw product of corruption, na kayo daw yung mga political leadership nyo daw ay involved sa drugs, alam ko namang hindi. Na masakit sa akin yun, no? Kasi Filipino na proud ako sa mga accomplishments nyo sa Region 6. Bakit ipapabagsak ang imahe nyo sa buong mundo samantalang pinaghirapan nyo yan? Yung maabot niya yung ganyang status. Ang hirap ng dinaanan nyo, grabe rin yung mga disasters nyo, at grabe rin yung mga insurgency problems nyo. Alam nyo kung bakit? Because I handled some of the cases when I was a justice and chief justice at the Supreme Court. I wrote some of the cases involving your region. So I can say that I think that's propaganda, political propaganda. So ang tingin ko, dapat yung mga communities who have built themselves up through their sheer self-help and through their faith in God, hard work, and discipline, dapat talaga matreat ng tama at hindi ginagamit sa politika. So 2222 can reverse that decline na parang lagi na lang political propaganda ang ginawa, lagi na lang political. The president is not a president of the nation, kundi yung presidente natin nang hahati-hati, nang da-down ng iba. Sabi ko, paano tayo mayu-unite kung ganyan? So important yung 2022. Pero ang nakita ko, no, when I was Chief Justice and after I was ousted, na ang pinaka-weak link sa ating demokrasya ay ang taong bayan. You know, all those countries that enjoy the benefits of democracy, daan-daang taon ang dinaanan upang ipanday, no? Sa kaisipan ng mga tao ang kahalagahan ng bawat isa. Kasi it is respect for everyone that is the starting point of democracy. When we talk about equal protection, when we talk about human rights, when we talk about sovereign Filipino people, it must always start with the concept of the dignity of man. And when I traced the history of democracy, the dignity of man comes from the biblical concept of every man having been made in the image of God.
Yes.
Ngayon, ang karamihan ng mga Pilipino hindi aware doon. Na grabe pala ang value nila. Kaya tingnan mo karamihan ng Pilipino, minimeasure lang ang sarili nila according to ano ba ang gadgets natin. Lagi nagko-compare ng sarili sa kahit kapitbahay. Ang daling i-manipulate kasi hindi nila nakikita yung inherent worth nila at madaling i-manipulate ng politicians kasi akala nila ang politicians hari. Malalim yun at marami yun. At kung sa politika ka lang aasa na ayusin yan, at least for this moment, Adon, hindi kaya. Kasi masyado pang weak ang concept ng Pilipino about his own worth. So ang kailangan, kung sino ang nakakaintindi ng katotohanan na ito, sisisid sa ganung problema and do everything to build up that self-confidence that comes from the knowledge of the value that he has in God and under the Constitution. Kasi under the Constitution, highly valued rin ang bawat Pilipino. Kailangan i-reverse. Yung sinasabi kong power structure, that's why I keep on showing that slide para mabago ang utak ng mga Pilipino, hindi sila alipin, kundi ang ganda-ganda ng worth at dignity nila. Hindi kaya yon sa political run. Kaya yon for an educational sustained effort na kausapin para maging hashtag ngayon, taong bayan naman. So hindi kaya yon kung ako'y tatakbo at the same time, habang ini-educate, habang ako'y nakikipag-usap sa maraming youth groups. Kasi ang tinuturo ko is how to fight as an ordinary citizen. Ito ang mga tools natin. Ito ang equipping natin. Ito tayo. Ganito lagi ang ating message. At ang message natin, i-direct natin sa lahat ng gustong maging aplikante. Even the terms, pinapalitan ko. Lahat ng political candidates are not political candidates. Ang tawag ko sa kanila, aplikante. Para sa mga posisyon ng lingkod bayan. Kaya sa akin, hindi sila mga talaga yung kailangan tawagan na kagalang-galang, kundi dapat idagdagan na kagalang-galang na lingkod bayan, gano'n. Yun, para lagi iulit yun. Naku, malaking trabaho yan doon. At sinong gagawa niyan? Nasa akin ang malinaw na direksyon malinaw na pangangailangan. Kung masyadong klaro sa akin, di dapat ako manguna doon. Kaya yan ang ginagawa ko. Sorry po kung hindi kayo mag-agree, pero yan ang dahilan kaya ako nagdesisyon, kahit na marami pong nagyaya sa akin na hindi ako tatakbo, hindi ako mag-a-apply para sa ganung posisyon ngayong panahon. Salamat po sa inyong concern.
That's a very insightful response, CJ Sereno. We hope to have more of these women, community, and government leaders in place, in our system. Yes. According to you, CJ Sereno, it is pertinent to articulate social goal to establish a just and humane society. So we are curious to know your insight about this. Do you think who would make a better president? Sarah or Lenny?
Okay. Hindi ko pa ako alam kung talagang tatakbo si Lenny. So kung sasabihin mag-a-apply si Lenny, no?
Yeah.
So kung habang hindi pa niya ginagawa yon, parang speculation. Speculation for me to talk about it. Pero malinaw sa akin, no?
Yeah.
Kahit sinong tatakbo o kahit sino mag-a-apply, ito po ang kanyang kung para sa presidente. Lahat sila, sino na po ba ang nag-announce? Si Lacson, si Pacquiao, at si sino po yung isa pa? May isa pa
Isko Moreno.
Isko Moreno, opo.
Yeah.
Okay. Naiintindihan po ba nila yung Article 7? So kayo pong mga audience, basahin niyo po yung Article 7, Section 5 ng Constitution. Meron silang sumpa doon na specific to the President and the Vice President. So, pagpapatupad ng batas, pagsiserve ng buong patriotism at loyalty, at pag-uphold ng Constitution. So, itanong po natin, paano nila ipapatunayan ang kanilang patriotism at loyalty sa taong bayan? Paano nila ipapatunayan ang kanilang honesty at integrity? Yeah. Paano nila ano ang tingin nila sa konstitusyon na kailangan nilang i-uphold at i-defend? At gaya ba ng dating si Pangulong Arroyo at ngayon si Pangulong Duterte, sila pa ang mangunguna upang ibagsak upang i-revise, yun yung kay Arroyo po, no? O pawalang bahala, which President Duterte mismo said, waste paper lang yan. Ang konstitusyon, kasi matuto na po tayo. Kung imbes na patuparin ang konstitusyon, masyado po silang ginagawa ang konstitusyon ay as a political tool for them to remain in power. Wag niyo po ever suportahan yung mga yan. So basahin natin sa bawat isang aplikante sa posisyon ng lingkod bayan ng pagiging pangulo, paano nyo tutuparin isa-isa itong oath nyo sa Article 7, Section 5. Wag ho natin palalampasin ang mga aplikante. Tayo ang employer. Sila ang humihingi ng trabaho. Tayo po dapat ang mag-set ng TOR, tayo ang mag-grill sa kanila. Di po ba pati household staff nyo, bawat isa, ini-interview nyo, tinitingnan nyo ang references. Bakit itong mga aplikante sa posisyon ng lingkod bayan hindi natin ini-interview at grill? I-grill nyo po. Ang gagaling po naman mga women business leaders sa pag-grill ng mga aplikante.
Yes. Wow. So we look at them in the viewpoint that they are applicants. Okay. Thank you for those insights, CJ Sereno. And we come to our third and our last question here. What is your challenge to Filipino women in the upcoming 2022 elections?
Nahati po ang nakita ko nangyari sa mga kababaihan. Yung isang panig ng mga kababaihan sumama ho sa pagiging balahura ng ating mga namumuno. Kung anong kabastusan na lumalabas, pinalakpakan ng mga babae. Nakakalungkot po kasi tayo po masyado malinaw sa atin na kailangan i-guard natin yung moral fabric ng lipunan natin. Pagka tayo nating masira ang kinabukasan ng ating mga anak at apo. Ngunit kung nakikita nila sa telebisyon ay presidenteng nagmumura at nambabastos, tapos nakikita nila sa bahay o sa mga simbahan, mga pumapalakpak. No? Ang nakakalungkot, imbis na yung mga babae pinigilan yung ganong pagpapalakpak sa kabastusan na naririnig nila, sumama pa yung mga ibang babae. Nagpagamit pa. Sa kampanya po, nagiging sex object ang mga babae. Bakit po? Yung kalaswaan ng lalaki, ginamit, tinukoy nila, naglagay sila ng mga sexy dancers para yung mga lalaki pumunta sa political rallies at pumito na parang mga lobo ba, yung
Catcalling.
Oo, no? At magagyrate ang mga babae, lumalabas yung yung libido, yung lust ng lalaki.
Yeah.
Gamit yun, which we know hindi dapat binubuksan, inuungkat, pinapalaganap, kasi maling direksyon. Imbis na ipapatatag ang faithfulness sa bahay at ang pagkatatag ng pamilya, sinisira contrary to that direction. So, ipaalala po natin na malaking bagay ang pagtuturo ng mga babae sa tamang direksyon ng lipunan. Tayo po dapat manguna. Ito ang standards. Okay? Ang standards po, may maling katuruan nga na sinabi ko sa inyo na inakala nila pag Kristiyano ka, mahinhin ka, na hindi ka iimik. Baligtad po yun. Pag nakita niyo po ang Biblia, it's all about confidence in Christ, magsasalita ka para sa tama. At pag babae ka, yung iyong pagiging babae ay malakas na puwersa para sa mabuting pagbabago. Yun po ang itinuturo sa atin ng Diyos. At hindi ko yung maging kimika, yes ka na lang, pumayag ka sa kahit anong violence, pumayag ka sa abuse. Tinuruan po tayo ng lipunan na gano'n. Push back tayo. Fight. Is that natin standard? Articulate kasi usually mga babae malakas ang verbal articulateness. Isa-isahin natin. And then pag nakikipag-usap na sila sa town hall, diretso tayo magtanong. What will keep us from asking direct questions? Sanay nga tayong magtanong ng mga direct questions sa ating mga anak yun nga sa mga ating anak, with gentleness. Pero pag public officials o kaya yung mga aplikante sa trabaho, mas tayo, mas maging parang may professional distance. Huwag mo tayo sinasabi mo, kaya mong isolve itong pandemic problem. Pero nakita namin na hindi mo pinagkakatiwalaan ang komunidad. Kasi nakita namin ito ang ginawa mo sa komunidad. Imbis na palaganapin ang pag-aambag ng lahat, tinakot mo. Tama ba yan? Ganyan pa rin bang gagawin mo? Pananakot? Yon, mga ganong. Then, ipakita nyo sa kanila na nag-research kayo, na ang sipag-sipag niyong mag-research, isa-isahin niyo yung ginawa nila in the past. Yun po ang challenge ko sa mga kababaihan, sa darating na eleksyon. Ngayon pa lang po, gawin na natin, ngayon pa lang mag-war na tayo sa lahat. Lahat kayong magpa-file ng Certificate of Candidacy, COC. Tandaan nyo, ngayon pa lang nagre-research na kami. Ngayon pa lang naglilista na kami ng marami naming tanong at hindi namin palalampasin ang pagiging peke nyo. Alam namin, pinapaandar yung mga kampanya nyo ng public relations, ng mga spin, ng media spin. Alam ko, bibili kayo ng airtime. Pero kami, hindi magpapalampas ng ganyan. Gagawin namin ang sarili naming challenge sa inyo.
Thank you for highlighting those innate character and the gentleness of women, CJ. So we have, as women, we have the moral responsibility to follow what is righteous, and the things that you have highlighted from the Bible, the Proverbs 30, that women is indeed a force to reckon.
Force talaga.
Yes. Thank you so much. We have heard the sweeping insights of Chief Justice Sereno. That was the last question. It was truly an honor to have you in this event. So let us give CJ Sereno a virtual heart, a virtual clap, and a thumbs up.
Thank you po. Maraming salamat. God bless you all. Thank you. I hope to visit you one day.
Yes po. Yes. We hope so too.
Thank you. And to all the organizers and viewers, God bless you all.
Our pleasure. Please stay, CJ. May I now call on the PCW Chair, Attorney Andrea Lizares C., to do the virtual awarding of certificate for our keynote speaker.
Hello, Andrea. I see you at last.
Yes, hello, CJ. No, gosh, we really should hear more from you. I hope you like the certificate. It's a flower with the petals rotating out from the center. And I think that represents what we are trying to do as women, no? To be radiating the beauty and our concepts of safe space and good governance. And I really appreciated how you wove into your message our theme, no, about safe spaces. I'm amazed at how you did that. Wow. Okay, so let me read the certificate. The Province of Negros Occidental Provincial Council for Women presents this certificate of appreciation to the Honorable Maria Lourdes Sereno, former Chief Justice of the Supreme Court of the Philippines, for joining the women of Negros in real time, provoking thought and challenging us with their keynote speech on women and governance, thus contributing greatly to the success of the Provincial Council for Women's Midyear Forum, Safe Spaces para sa Negrosanon, given in the city of Bacolod this 29th day of September 2021, signed by Honorable Rita Angela Gatuslao, the chair of the SP Committee on Women, who is a member of the PCW, and myself, the chair of the Provincial Council for Women. Again, thank you so much, CJ Sereno. You'll always be CJ for us, you know.
The pleasure and honor is mine, Andrea, and I thank you. I'm deeply grateful to the women of Negros. Napaka laking utang na loob ko sa inyo. Maraming salamat po kasi marami sa inyo nagdasal at tumulong sa akin sa panahon ng aking kagipitan. Marami pong salamat. Hindi ko makakalimutan yon.
It's a pleasure. Thank you, Attorney C, and thank you, former CJ Sereno. May I invite to our virtual stage our honorable guests and some of our PCW officers inside our virtual studio for a photo opportunity with our keynote speaker. May I call in? Attorney C, Ma'am or Miss Colmenares, Ma'am Merly Garcia, Ma'am Joy Harabello, Board Rita Gatuslao, okay, Ma'am June, Ma'am Joy Limshaco, and we have here Vice Mayor Jing Tabuhara Soriano. And may we also invite Dr. Orbicido if she's... All right, so I guess we are ready for our photo opportunity. In my count, 3, 2, 1, please smile. Okay, and let's do the avance negrense sign like so. Thank you. In my count, yes, three. Mom Jenny, is she here?
Yeah,
Are we calling?
she's here.
Right. So in my count, please do avance. 3, 2, 1. Great. Again, let us give a
Thank you,
big
CJ.
virtual. Let's do the stop.
Stop wow.
Stop bow. Okay. All
Paano
right.
ba ito? Yan.
Okay, that's good. In my count, 3, 2, 1. Stop violence against women and their children. Let us give a virtual round of applause to our keynote speaker.
Thank you very much. Thank you. Good day. God bless all of you.
Good day.
God bless you.
Keep
Bye
safe.
po. Thank you. Stay safe, everyone. Bye-bye.
Thank you.
Thank you, ladies. After that awesome segment with our former Chief Justice Melo Sereno, he's so sweet and very generous in answering our questions and interacting with us this morning in this virtual event. Let us get ready to be further moved to the next part of our program. But before that, let me, before we transition to the next segment, allow me to recognize our program partners, women leaders, and GAD allies who are still watching us. Hello there, and thank you for joining us, Councilor Helen Zafra, Ma'am Relin Ocampo, Ma'am Farah Bantog, Ma'am Joy Limshaco, Ma'am Consuelo Jan Carmona, Ma'am Michi Grenada, Ma'am Salome Di Ocampo, and Ma'am Riza Sirilan. Okay, watching through, and also all of the members of the Provincial Council for Women and our gender and development allies, our sincerest appreciation to all of you for joining us this morning. One of the reasons why we are having this forum is to popularize the Republic Act 11313, the Safe Spaces Act, or the Bawal Bastos Law. Local government units are mandated to come up with a local ordinance for effective implementation of this law, which was passed in 2019. I would like to call on the chair of the Sangguniang Panlalawigan Committee on the Women and Family, the author of the proposed Bawal Bastos Ordinance, the Honorable Rita Gatislao of the 5th District for her message.
Morning. I am proud to address the participants of the Provincial Council for Women Midyear Forum and share on the proposed Safe Spaces Ordinance. The Congress enacted Republic Act number 11313 to be known as the Safe Spaces Act or the Bawal Bastos Act to address existing gaps and issues on equality, security, and safety of both women and men in private and public spaces. The Safe Spaces Act intended to expand the scope of the Anti-Sexual Harassment Act of 1995 or the Republic Act number 7877. So why is there a need for a local ordinance? We reviewed the Safe Spaces Act and found that most of the identified spaces pertained to an urban setting. It was not, so to speak, relatable to our provincial environment. In July, we proceeded to make the first draft of the ordinance, called the public hearing, with the intent to further expand the already defined spaces to make the law more responsive to our locality. After much deliberation and endeavor, I believe we have a version that is more relevant and relatable. The details and discussion of the draft ordinance of Safe Spaces will be ably presented by our own PCW chair. The proposed ordinance is passed second reading at the Sangguniang Panlalawigan, and after its passage, the LGUs will act upon its implementation. We recognize other key partners to the execution of this law and ordinance in the agencies like the PNP, CICC, DITC, DOJ, PSWDO, PHO, PCAT, VAWC, PCW to ensure effectiveness and prevention. Senator Riza Ontiveros, Senate Committee on Women, Children, and Family Relations and Gender Equality Chairperson, who is also the principal sponsor and author of the law, called the law a game changer. She believes it will promote policy change, behavioral change, and cultural change. This I believe to be so. The intent of this proposed ordinance is to make the entire province of Negros Occidental a safe space where everyone is protected against gender-based sexual harassment. Our shared task as members and advocates is to keep building awareness until we have transformed our communities as safe spaces. And in that pursuit, I invite everyone to participate. Let us together save a life, a family, a community, a province, a nation, and the world. We will do everything in our means to uphold the right of every human being as born free and equal in dignity and respect. Thank you. God protect us all. God bless Negros.
Thank you, Honorable Board Member Rita Gatislao. The proposed ordinance has gone a round of consultations with various stakeholders giving their inputs, including the members of the Committee on Decorum and Investigations, the Provincial Legal Office, and the PCW and the Academe. Again, our sincerest appreciation for that presentation. Allow me to read some of the comments that you have posted in our Facebook and YouTube. And we have here a very nice comment coming from the former Councilor Celia Flor, who wrote, "Thank you, CJ. Your insight and reaching for the greater goal of justice and humaneness broadens the work of advocacy and action from the women. I think there is a need to reassess our strategies and increase engagement of the people in this work." Thank you for that very positive and wonderful comment, Councilor Celia Flor. Keep your comments coming, greetings, state your name and municipality and city where you're coming from. We would love to read your greetings throughout or during the duration of our virtual event. We also have here another comment posted through our YouTube channel from Heyam Andrade. Watching from San Carlos City, Children and Women's Affair Incorporated with the staff Hiyam Mankit and Andrade, Freza Jade Mankit, Hakaban, and Enrique Santiago Catalbas. Again, thank you very much to you, sir, and the rest of your staff, and to those coming from San Carlos City for joining us this morning. We also have here from Charmaine Joso, watching from Himamaylan City Council for Women. Thank you for joining us. We also would like to thank LGUs and PCW from different cities and municipalities. Okay, so thank you for joining us. Good morning from Miss Michi Hassel Delicano. I'm Mitch, okay, watching from Hinigaran. Thank you. We also have here from Mayan Gundao. Good morning again from the municipality of Ilog. Thank you for joining us. We have Harvey Estilior. Good morning, watching from Victoria City. And Bruce Lee Arsenio. Good morning and God bless from Himamaylan City Council, Himamaylan City. Thank you for joining us and the rest of the staff and members of Himamaylan City Council. Good morning. Okay, I guess that was the last comment. Keep your comments and greetings coming. We would love to read them. And now, to present the salient features of the proposed provincial ordinance, let us have back to our virtual stage. Let us listen to the PCW chair, no other than Attorney Andrea Lazares. C.
Good morning, everyone. It is today my pleasure to present the highlights of the proposed Safe Spaces Ordinance that has been authored by Honorable Rita Tuslao and is currently before the Sanggunian. You may have heard about the violence against women and domestic violence, especially being the hidden pandemic during this time of COVID. And that is why the Provincial Council of Women cannot just relax and think about just COVID. No, we have to continue with our advocacy to create safe spaces for women, spaces where there are no sexual harassment and domestic violence and no trafficking. So let me present this. The purpose is, of course, to localize RA 11313, which is the Safe Spaces Act, the national law, and to designate, to expand the definition of public spaces regardless of ownership, and to call them safe spaces against gender-based sexual harassment. We also define and provide penalties for cases of gender-based sexual harassment that are not penalized or are insufficiently dealt with under RA 11313, and provide measures that will prevent the occurrence of and efficiently and effectively respond to GBSH as defined and penalized by the law and by this ordinance. First, we begin with definitions, where we did quite a bit of work. So if you look at buildings, the buildings are defined, the beginning is the same, but we added here that the focus on hospitals, clinics, medical therapy centers, churches, chapels, and other places of worship, factories, mills, warehouses, machine shops, repair shops, and accommodation establishments, including condominiums, apartments, dormitories, and boarding houses. These are not in RA 11313, but you know, sexual harassment happens in those places. For public utility vehicles, we added tricycad, habal-habal, tricycles, private carpool app, bankas, rafts, boats, and airplanes, because these are all places where sexual harassment can happen. We added rural areas, which is not defined at all in RA 11313. No? So the term refers to agricultural areas, fields, forests, rivers, lakes, territorial seas, natural parks, which we have many here, no? All these things. Then workplaces, we have defined not just as an ordinary workplace, but a place where people work, and also which non-employees can access, either our suppliers, dealers, agents, customers, etc. No? People who have transactions or dealings with the workplace, so that would also qualify as a workplace. So what are the acts that are punishable? The first definition, okay, is you've heard this: cursing, wolf whistling, catcalling, etc. Where the acts are punishable under RA 11313, then they will be punished under the said law. But if they are committed in areas that are not covered by the law, then they will be covered by the ordinance. So it's the same things, but if these happen in the areas defined only under the ordinance, the penalty will be 1,012 hours community service with gender sensitivity for the first offense, to 11 to 30 days imprisonment, and 5,000 fine for the third offense. And the next is a little bit heavier, no? Because this one isn't just verbal and jokes and slurs, but this includes offensive body gestures like exposing private parts and groping, public masturbation, etc. So the penalty here would be fine of 3,000, community service of 12 hours, and for the third offense, 1 month and 1 day to 6 months, and fine of 5,000. The letter C is even heavier. Why? Because it is accompanied by touching or stalking. So touching, pinching, brushing against the body of the offended person, or any touching, pinching, or brushing against genitalia, face, arms, anus, groin, etc. No? Even when not accompanied by letter A and letter B, the offensive body gestures and the offensive words. The penalty for this is 11 to 30 days and a fine of 5,000 pesos, including attendance in a gender sensitivity seminar. And for the third offense, 6 months and 1 day to 1 year, and a fine of 5,000 pesos. We also have gender-based sexual harassment in public utility vehicles. We had to make a provision for the case of habal-habal and tricycad, because these are not covered by the LTFRB, no? And therefore you cannot revoke their LTFRB license. So when the driver of such a vehicle is a perpetrator of an act of gender-based sexual harassment against a passenger or against a pedestrian, somebody on the street, no? In addition to the penalties prescribed by RA 11313 or by the ordinance, the driver will not be allowed to drive the habal-habal, tricycle, tricycad, or other vehicle for hire or compensation. For the first offense, 5 days. For the second offense, the suspension is 15 days. And the third offense, it's 30 days. Let's go to gender-based sexual harassment in educational institutions and workplaces. Remember, the earlier definition of workplace includes places where people transact. So gender-based sexual harassment in educational institutions and workplaces occurs between parties, at least one of whom is directly connected with the educational institution or workplace. So the other person could be somebody transacting, no? Or else could be a parent or a guardian or a yaya accompanying the student. So somebody with something to do with the workplace or the educational institution. They may be offenders or offended parties in gender-based sexual harassment under Section 7. To continue Section 7, okay, so the crime, as in RA 11313, it involves a demand, request for sexual favors, no, of different kinds. And now we're making it, the sexual favor is made as a condition in the purchase, sale, payment, lease, availment, granting of favorable terms or conditions. Remember, we're talking about people who go to the workplace to transact business, so they could be selling something, no? Or as a condition to the giving of a passing grade. So we've seen that already for educational institutions. And the effect would be to discriminate, deprive, or diminish said person's opportunities, or otherwise affect said person or the person, entity, student, or learner for whose benefit the offended party is in the workplace or educational institution. Okay, so it could be that the parent or the yaya or the sibling is the one who is subjected to sexual harassment. Under the law, the current law, there would be no sexual harassment there, but we would like that to be punished under the ordinance. So the penalty here is imprisonment from 1 month to 6 months and a fine of 5,000, whichever is higher. Of course, if the RA 11313 is applicable, then they will be punished according to RA 11313. Let's look at the duties and responsibilities of persons in charge of public spaces. The first one is there should be zero tolerance against gender-based public spaces sexual harassment. And the persons in charge are obliged to provide assistance to victims. They are supposed to make CCTV footages available and provide a safe, gender-sensitive environment to encourage victims to report gender-based sexual harassment at the first instance. Privately owned public spaces are required to appoint at least one anti-sexual harassment officer to receive GBSH complaints. And then these privately owned spaces are also supposed to implement the following measures, like the development of protocols to be followed if there is a report, to assist victims of gender-based violence by contacting the local police, coordinating with them. They are also supposed to, where required, install functional closed-circuit television cameras and provide footages to the victims, provide a safe, gender-sensitive environment to encourage victims to report, and the police personnel, tanod, security guards, and other related persons may be deputized or allowed to apprehend perpetrators caught in flagrante delicto. The heads of employees and educational and training institutions who do not act, do not implement their duties, do not take action, they are also punishable. The ordinance provides a penalty, although the law, RA 11313, apparently forgot to provide for the penalty. So we put penalty here. Then the province of Negros Occidental has its duties and responsibilities listed here in section 17. First of all, the PICAT, the Provincial Committee Against Trafficking and VAUSI, or its subcommittee, may be appointed to oversee the full implementation of the province's duties and responsibilities under RA 11313 and the ordinance. Then additional representatives may be appointed to the subcommittee. The functions will be information dissemination, ensure that component cities and municipalities comply with the Republic Act and the IRR and the ordinance, including providing technical and financial assistance if necessary, and also assistance in the passage of ordinances to localize the Safe Spaces Act, the help with conducting capacity building for all persons in charge, and anti-sexual harassment officers and other implementing bodies for the implementation of the ordinance. Then the province is also supposed to ensure the setting up and maintenance of functional closed-circuit televisions, cameras, which is also supposed to be the responsibility of municipalities, cities, and barangays. To continue, the primary responsibility for enforcing RA 11313 and the ordinance rests with cities and municipalities. So we have representatives here right now, cities and municipalities. These LGUs have the following duties. They are supposed to pass an ordinance which shall localize the applicability of our provincial ordinance within 60 days of its effectivity. For this purpose, the PCW will help to draft a template ordinance so that our LGUs can comply with this. Then disseminate or post in conspicuous places of this information, and to prevent gender-based sexual harassment in all public spaces by measures such as information campaigns and anti-sexual harassment seminars. So more information. And the LGUs can also discourage and impose fines and acts of gender-based sexual harassment. Actually, who is going to apprehend the violators of the ordinance and the law? It will be the municipalities and cities primarily, which will have contact with them. And the last slide, something that needs to be done. We hope that this will be done, to establish an anti-sexual harassment desk and an anti-sexual harassment hotline at the City and Municipal Hall for the purpose of receiving and responding to calls and expediting the receipt and processing of complaints and reports of gender-based sexual harassment in streets and public spaces. So a hotline. Do we have a hotline for VOW? So for this purpose, arrangements may be made with the Police Women's Desk and the PSWDO for a hotline to be present for GBSH. Cities and municipalities are supposed to organize an anti-sexual harassment subcommittee under the LGU's Gender and Development Focal Point System. So it's actually a reflection of the system under the province, no? Where we have the Picat Vauci, also supposed to be handling this sexual harassment ordinance. And so the work of this subcommittee is to supervise, support, and coordinate the operations of the anti-sexual harassment desk and hotline of the municipality or city. Letter G, to designate traffic enforcers and other law enforcement units to be anti-sexual harassment enforcers, and to ensure that they undergo gender-sensitive training and orientation on the law. Letter H, to ensure the setting up and maintenance of functional CCTV cameras, yes, major roads, alleys, and sidewalks, so that these will really aid in the filing of cases. And letter I, to ensure the passage by every barangay of a barangay ordinance to prevent the occurrence of and efficiently and effectively respond to gender-based sexual harassment in streets and public spaces. Still continuation, as you can see, there's a lot of work to do for local governments. Letter J, to establish an anti-sexual harassment referral network to strengthen coordination among public and private service providers. This reminds you of the Barangay Valdez, which are also supposed to have referral networks, and provide training on the law for puning barangays and members of the Lupong Tagapamayapa, Barangay Justice, in cases covered by the Barangay Justice System, for traffic enforcers under their jurisdiction, and adopt training modules for concerned LGU personnel down to the barangay level. I suppose we can integrate this with trainings also on domestic violence and other crimes against women and children. Letter L, provide technical and financial assistance. Of course, the municipalities and cities are supposed to provide these technical assistance to the barangays, and coordinate with the DILG in the implementation of this act. So that is the last slide. We are so used to bastos being tolerated in public spaces. And the fact is that with the anti-bastos law, this should not be the case. No? We can take action against it, and our local governments can be empowered further with a passage of local ordinances, and also the measures that we will take to reduce, if not eliminate, sexual harassment, gender-based sexual harassment. So I hope that this presentation has been of help, and there will be a time after the COVID when we can be more active about our information campaigns. But we hope that this ordinance will pass soon. Thank you very much.
Thank you, Attorney C, for that very informative presentation. Let us give Attorney C some virtual reaction, virtual clap, virtual heart, and a thumbs up. We hope that the ordinance will be passed or enacted very soon so that we can be the first province in the country to have the provincial ordinance on the safe spaces. We would like to again personally thank and recognize PCW officers and members from Pontevedra, Talisay, Himamaylan, Kabangkalan, Bago, Bacolod, and Moises Padilla, and to all who are joining or actively joining us today. I hope you have already done the online attendance. Zoom link will be sent to you after you have accomplished the online attendance. Thank you. For another equally important discussion on being safe, especially during this time of COVID pandemic, I would like to turn over the virtual stage to the Action Officer of the Provincial Gender and Development Focal Point System, the former chair and the current advisor of the PCW, Executive Assistant to the Governor. Ladies and gentlemen, let us give a glad hand to Ms. Marijun P. Castro. I'm sorry, Ma'am June. I'm sorry to interrupt. I guess you are
Yes.
muted. All right, thank you.
Yes. Thank you, Red. And good morning once again to all our participants in this mid-year forum, the Provincial Council for Women. The word safe or stay safe has always been used, frequently used, especially this time of the COVID pandemic. And earlier we have a talk from the former Chief Justice Maria Lourdes Sereno on how women can help create safe spaces for our constituents. This time, we will have a discussion, no? Aside from the Safe Spaces Act and Ordinance shared by Attorney C, our PCW chair, we will have a discussion focusing on the current COVID situation in the province. And we have no less than the Health Education and Promotion Officer of the Provincial Health Office to share with us the latest update. She is a nurse, and let's all welcome, without further ado, Ma'am Jenny Dalia Saron.
Thank you, Miss June. Thank you, Git, for your introduction. Good morning to Attorney C, our chair for PCW, to Honorable Rita Gatuslao, and to all our hosts, and especially to all our viewers from the different cities and municipalities. And I would like to thank this opportunity that we can share our information related to COVID-19 cases, especially our vaccine. So here we go. It is said that 10% of the COVID-related cases are from the vulnerable population. So when we talk about vulnerable population, we mean those are the population like senior citizens and or people with comorbidities like with hypertensive, cardiac diseases, and asthmatic and other related comorbidities. So these are the Philippine situation. This is updated from September 27, the latest. We have a confirmed case of 2,490,858, and COVID-related deaths are amounting to 37,405. So for the province of Negros Occidental, we have a confirmed case of 28,116, and our COVID-related deaths reach up to 807. As of September 7, worldwide, confirmed cases among the confirmed COVID
Ma'am,
cases
Ma'am Jen,
almost, yes, ma'am.
excuse me, can you share your slides, share screen?
Yeah, we are sharing. Why those like
Yeah.
why do
Because actually we sent it to Nulitsi last night, but I
yeah.
heard that you asked that you will be the one to share it. Okay, we'll ask na lang Nulitsi, Ma'am Jen, to share the slide. Okay, so
Are we not sharing? We are
no,
sharing
we'll
this
ask na lang
one.
Nulitsi to share because yeah, if you cannot, they already shared, but the audience, Ma'am Jenny already shared her screen, but the audience cannot see it. So we'll ask Nulitsi. Anyway, you just can instruct them to go to the next slide.
Wala gagawa sila.
Ara siya ma'am, kitaon siya.
Para man.
What's that?
Can you
Full,
see? Can you see our slide, ma'am?
yeah, if you want.
Yeah,
Just go
can
back a
you see our
little.
slide?
The first slide.
Dito lang ta, dito lang.
Sa
Okay.
dahan ka lang to ang
Okay,
na-mention mo
okay
na
na ma'am.
sa
Okay, sige. These are some basic information. So it is said that 10% of the COVID-19 deaths are from the vulnerable population. When we talk about vulnerable population, these are people with comorbidities and our senior citizens.
my screen
So
is black.
Philippine cases,
Ma'am Jen,
yeah, yes ma'am.
wala siya gagwa.
Wala siya gagawa. Ay,
Nadula.
sorry.
Yeah, nag-black lang, yes, oo. Oo.
Ang ganda siya.
Can you have an,
Okay.
di ba you can
You have, you can
full
have this.
slide? Full
Kitaon
slide.
siya.
Can you click slideshow and then start from screen 1?
Yeah. Slideshow those.
Oo.
Yeah.
Yung parang buong screen makita, para dako.
Oo. Yeah, ano lang.
Okay, so yeah, so while they are
Hindi siya
Actually,
Lagi ako.
Ara siya,
actually
ma'am.
ready na ang Let's if you will
Sige,
permit
ma'am.
them.
Sige,
Ha?
go.
Can
Go.
we ask ng Litsi na lang?
Yes, ma'am.
Oo,
Hindi
sige,
sila.
because
May
we're
gusto sila.
time is
Pabalitaan
running.
ni sa.
Okay.
Yes,
Can
ma'am.
you, no, Litsi, can you share the screen? Okay, this is from the Litsi. Yes, Ma'am Jen. So,
Okay. Okay.
yeah.
So the Philippine COVID cases as of September 27, we have a total case of 2,490,858. A COVID-related deaths from these 2 million is almost 37,405. Yes, next please. Philippine For Negros Occidental, we have, as of September 27, we have a confirmed case of 28,116 and COVID-related deaths is almost 807. So when we talk of vaccine, what is vaccine? Everybody knows we have a lot of vaccines produced and being implemented by the Department of Health. But for just your a little of info, vaccine teaches a person's immune system to produce immunity to a specific disease. Just like sa aton nga mga diphtheria, tetanus, aton nga mga BCG and other vaccine being implemented. Vaccine also uses a very small amount of antigen to help the immune system recognize and learn to fight serious diseases. So how the vaccine works? Vaccine works. We would like to show you some video for really to have an idea on how it works.
Pa-play lang silang video. Wala na siya, i-play lang nila ang video.
Can you play no Lexi, the video? Please play the video. Why?
Para nang i-click lang nila ang ano.
Just please. Why?
Hindi sila ka-control sa mga ko yung screen.
Wala ka nang dya gagwa.
Hindi sila nga end. Wala mo i-play nila ang
Wala
video. Para man ako. Mag-share man ka screen.
Man ila screen.
Oo.
Ma'am Jen, is that the maximum of your, your video, Ma'am Jenny, your...
Yes, ma'am. That's
click
the
your
maximum.
video. That's the maximum. Okay, so
Yes,
in
ma'am.
short, what does it mean?
So
Pag
in short,
nabakunahan ka,
in
produce
short,
something in
kung
our body?
nabakunahan ka, the body produces the vaccine produces antibody to fight against infection. So if the vaccine does not give you a disease, but it produces more soldiers or antibodies to give an individual protection against the disease. So how does the vaccine is being made?
Mhm.
I have this slide. Okay.
Mm-hmm.
Can we see the slide, ma'am?
Yeah, yeah. Yes, ma'am. Continue, ma'am.
Yes. Am I doing the control?
Uh, you just tell them if they will proceed to the next slide.
Can we
Yeah,
can we
okay, okay.
proceed? So
Yes.
the vaccine development involves many stages. No, so these are the different stages of the vaccine. So we have this vaccine development. So next slide, please. So there are roads considering for the vaccine. So the first thing is to exploratory discovery. So this involves the scientists to identify the natural antigen that might be of help to treat the different diseases. So the antigens might include weakened strains of virus. Next, please. So during the clinical trial, this clinical trial is being identified really to this involves the systems. The vaccine is being tried into different animals to determine whether the candidate vaccine will be producing immunity. So the first is the vaccine being tested through the animals. So after that, next slide please. After the vaccine is considered safe to the animals, this proceeded to phase one, the next phase. Small number of people being tested. This involves 10 to 20 to 100 healthy individuals. And if the vaccine is proven to be effective, we proceeded to the second phase. So next slide, please. The second phase is in the second phase,
Next slide.
we determine the more information
Next
for
slide.
according to the safety. Next slide, please. Oh, yes, ma'am.
Yeah, that's
No,
phase two.
this involves the assessment of efficacy and safety, especially in human. So the participant involved here are more than 100 individuals. And after being proven to be safe, we proceeded now to the next phase three. So on the phase three, more people are being involved. It covers 300 to 3,000 volunteers with target condition with more exposure to people more exposed to the vaccine. And after that, we have the regulatory review and approval of the vaccine. Once the vaccine passes through all the phases of the vaccine development, the developer submits now the license to FDA. But at the moment, FDA gives us the what we call as the EUE. This is an emergency use authorization for the vaccine. For all types of the vaccine, we have different types of the vaccine. And after that, if the manufacturing now produces a lot of and more vaccines are being controlled, we proceeded now to the next step. Next slide, please. So we have now the quality control. During the quality control, these measures now are taken to monitor the safety, performance, and effectiveness of the approved vaccine. And next slide, please. All vaccines are not exempted to side effects. So all vaccines may mga minor side effects. So for the COVID vaccine, mild reactions will just go away within few days, and it is expected for 1 to 2 days or not very long days. So these are some of the common side effects of the vaccine. We have mild fever, chill, feeling being tired, pain, swelling sa iyang area of injection, muscle joint pains, headaches, fainting in some other cases, and it is just like a flu-like symptoms. The next slide would show you the different arrays of vaccines. Now we have different types of the vaccines which are not available. Next slides, please. The next slide shows. Next slide, please. Why do we that this slide shows that different vaccines have different side effects. So we will not deal more on this because we have considerations. We have different vaccines like Pfizer, AstraZeneca, Sputnik, Moderna, Janssen, and other vaccines have different effectiveness or protection, especially in different levels. Next slide, please. But all of them are very effective. So in Negros Occidental, we have these cases, updated cases as of September 21, updated naton nga vaccination of vaccinated individuals. So we have, for the province of Negros Occidental, we have target population of 1,825,370 individuals targeted to be vaccinated. But as of the moment, a total number of individuals vaccinated for the first dose is only 317,150, that amounting to 17.37%. For the second dose, we are expected to have 168,109, and that's only 9.21%. As you can see, the target percent is very, very far. We are lagging behind to a total target population to be vaccinated 1.8, and the total vaccinated is almost halfway, not even halfway, 17% pa lang kita. So ang total naton nga number of doses is 485,259, and we are expecting for other individuals nga mga 3% nga ma-second dose pa. So if you compare our total vaccinated individual, it's very, very far, very small pagid ang aton nga na-vaccinate nga mga individual. So we are appealing to everybody who are online today to please help the Department of Health, help us campaign for the vaccination activity, because naton sa province of Negros Occidental, we are only almost 18% as of this time. So we have heard some messages from our speakers a while ago that women had a very, very big vital role in the campaign and good leader in the community. So we are appealing to different LGUs, women leaders, to please help us campaign kay kalayo-layo pagid sa aton nga accomplishment as of this morning. And we always say it is always better to prevent a disease than to treat it after it occurs. Next slide, please. Thank you so much. And in behalf of our Provincial Health Officer, Dr. Tumimbang, our Chief Technical, Dr. Afama, we would like to thank you for helping us out in the immunization campaign. So kindly please help us in the campaign so that we could reach the 1.8 million that we are targeting for the vaccination.
Thank you, Ma'am Jenny. But may ang gabader lang sa mind ko is nubo ang aton percentage. But my question is, do we have available vaccines? Kaya ang magpamati ito sa national, parang ina-threaten na ang iban kaya hindi magpabaksin. No? Pero, but in the community, kadamo gusto magpabaksin o pabakuna, pero parang wala man sang available. So, what's really the real score? Nga ang health agencies gambal o magpabakuna na kamo. Kadutay lang sa nakapabakuna. And then sa community gambal nga gusto namon magpabakuna, pero parang wala naman ang available. Ano ba talaga?
That's true, Miss June, and thank you. As of the moment, the protocol is we are targeting priority A population. So first, we prioritize the elderly or the senior citizens, the people who are with comorbidities, and people nga ato na siya nga mga frontliners. The thing is, with the scarcity of the supply, especially to us in the Negros province, amo na siya ang our number one problem naton, the supply. And the other thing is because there are a lot of people who are campaigning not to submit themselves for vaccination because of some mga misconceptions. And we are trying to ask help from different organizations, and I hope through this venue we could also solicit some support for us to really correct those informations nga nagahinder sa aton nga vaccination.
So, apparently, it's true nga may kulang man sa supply. And
Yes,
then,
ma'am, that's true.
may naga-campaign man sa iban nga hindi magpabakuna, pero I think kadyute man na siya. So, it's really the supply, no? So,
It's the supply, ma'am.
but you are, sige-sige ang inyo pagpangbakuna. Do you have schedules, Ma'am Jen?
Yes, ma'am. Yes, ma'am. Sa aton LGUs, as soon as the vaccine arrives here in the province, we immediately distributed that to our different LGUs. Well, in fact, we are trying to really maximize the capacity of our LGUs, especially our health personnel, because some of our also health personnel are affected with COVID conditions.
Yeah. I'm just curious kasi as a God, especially but God is also supporting some of the anti-COVID program, or we have a gender
Yes, that's
responsive
true, Ma'am
intervention
Joy.
to COVID-19. Pila bala ang kwan? Do you have data kung sino ang mas damo nagka-COVID sa Negros, mga babae or lalaki? Sino ang mas damo napatay, babae or lalaki? And nag-ano na nakapabakuna? Do you
Yes, ma'am.
have?
For our COVID cases, 52% are females. Daw
Mas
patako siya, no?
damo babae.
Yes, ma'am. Out of the 28,000, almost 14,000 are women and 13,000 are males. So siguro tungod nga amo to kaina because of the multifactorial mga functions ng mga nanay, mga kababaihan, ang women are going to markets, women are going to shopping malls, women are doing everything. So amo na siya, there are a lot of exposures. Women are exposed to different types of functions. So that brought them to, makasiling kita nga they are a lot more exposed than men.
Yeah. Okay. So, sa subong, ano ang mga vaccine nga nakasulod na di sa aton? Like for example, in our family, lain-lain bakuna namo. Ano, ang husband ko Sinovac, akon Pfizer, kag ang bata ko nga bayan, and then sa bata ko nga laki, ano ba yun? Moderna or something. And well, sa family, four of us nagka-COVID. Sa awa ng Diyos, salamat nga hindi masyado ka-severe. No? So, ang realization ko is really dependent upon God kung anong klase COVID mahatag sa imo and how your body will react. So, sa aton, ano nga mga bakunang nakasulod na sa Negros?
For us, ang ato diri bakuna are Pfizer, Sinovac, Moderna, AstraZeneca. Do amo na siya. Ang wala kita diri is Sputnik. Pero we really do not have that. Damo naman siya so far.
So all these are ano lang ni saya no ginahatag ni sa aton or ginbakal ta?
May ara part ang provincial government nga nagbakal kita ang aton nga gin-purchase are AstraZeneca, but ang aton nga Pfizer, Moderna, and Sinovac are all donations from the COVAX facility.
So as you said earlier, pag abot sang vaccines diri, gina-distribute yun na siya dayon sa LGUs.
Yes, ma'am.
So,
Yes,
is
ma'am,
it safe to say nga ongoing pa ang vaccination sa different LGUs, or are you monitoring may mga weeks nga wala, or may mga days nga wala pa inyong bakuna?
Actually, ma'am, we are pag-abot sa vaccine with the help sang aton man nga mga partner agencies, gina-distribute na siya dayon pakadto sa different LGUs. And right away, pag-abot sang vaccine sa different LGUs, they are implementing the vaccination activity. As of the moment, may mga ara kita mga vaccines nga sige gina-implement. May mga Moderna kita pangatag sa LGUs, and diri man sa province may ara kita ginahatag nga AstraZeneca, may ara man kita nga ongoing Sinovac vaccinations. So ang aton nga Pfizer daw lately do na almost na siya ubos-ubos na, tapos na ta, and we are waiting for the next allocation from the DOH.
Sige. Ma'am Jenny, on some of the notions of our constituent, kasi syempre yung iba nag-monitor, nag-follow man, may mga pages man sila, may mga paryente sila abroad, nga nag-share man sa ila sa messenger kung anong mga updates. So may mga fear. So like may ara sila, for example, may nara ta iban nga yung mga nabakunahan nga a few days after na napatay. So kung kisa gina-blame nila ni on the vaccine. Ang iba naman nga kung ano-ano da ang gina-inject sa inyo, ganyan. So may mga how do you address this mga beliefs
Issues.
or mga
Mm-mm.
notions sa mga tao?
Actually, if we have received maka-receive kita sa mga complaints like that or reports like that, may ara kita surveillance system or surveillance nga personnel ato ang ara dira sa aton headed by Ms. Zarina Safra nga automatically naga-deploy kita personnel sa aton mga different LGUs to investigate the real thing that happened sa aton nga mga reported cases. And most of it na-discover kag nakita naton nga these people who died because of ginahambal nila nga COVID-related because nga before pa sila nagpa-vaccine, they are suffering from serious may mga comorbidities na sila. So in times nga nagpa-vaccine na sila, amo man na siya ang time nga nag-attack ang ilang mga balatian nga makasiling kita bala nga dugin apid na lang nila sa because of the vaccine.
Connect nila.
But yes, dugin connect nila dira. But truthfully, kung i-compare naton ang aton nga mga reports and reported cases kag na aton nga na-investigate, wala pa gid kita sang so far knock on wood, wala kita sa mga serious incident nga vaccine related alone nga serious nga after effects ng aton nga vaccination.
All right. So thank you, Miss Jen, no. I'm sure nga padayon ang aton ni pagmonitor sa aton mga nabakunahan ang kampanya sa mga wala pa kapabakuna. Kag syempre, whether nabakunahan or wala, ang aton mga safety protocols, ang pagwear sang face mask, ang face shield kung sa enclosed ka mga lugar, ang hand washing and social distancing ara gihapon. And just for your information, Ma'am Jen, kami karon sa PCW may afternoon nga portion pa ni sang amon nga assembleya wherein machika-chika kami no na partinister kami sa apat ka grupo, ang mga nabakunahan, ang wala nagabilib sa bakuna, and ang mga nag-COVID, kag ang mga frontliners kay kadamo sang nagpositive sa aton man nga mga kauturan.
Yes, ma'am.
Medyo
Yes.
ang aton mga kaupdanan, mga kakilala, gakulbaan na kay ang mapa naton bala sa updates naton sa COVID, may mga LGUs nga puwerte gid ka dark red.
Wala.
Silingon damo sang cases. Pero it's also sad kay kisa maglibot kita bala, makalabay kita kasi everyday we commute. Kadamo sa mga tawo nga ara sa kilidalan, bata tigulang wala nagamas, no? Wala lang COVID. So amo na siguro kinanglan pag I know very busy ang PCW do hindi nyo na maarapalan ang mang bakuna, mang edukar pa kag mag-alaga sa ara sa healing centers kag ang ara man nga daw mulala na nga cases. So siguro gapanawagan man ta sa LGU no nga bululigan tani tanan nga mga hilikoton. Ma'am Jenny, I know sa PHO kadamo naman sang
True.
like us in Capitol, mga government workers nga in the line of duty nagakatapikan. So may I have your last words, Ma'am Jenny?
Okay. So, thank you gid sang opportunity nga maka-help out sa campaign kamo, ma'am. And we are appealing to all the ladies or to all the viewers sa ini nga aton nga online discussion to please help us campaign because we still have a long way to go. Nakita nyo, we only have mga almost 18% ang fully vaccinated naton and damo-damo pagid ang aton nalambuton, and we are trying to really reaching out dito sa grassroots for the campaign or for really to accept the vaccine. Hindi ka mo magkahadlok because vaccine are safe, na akaagi na siya, damo-damo na nga research kag di man kita ikaw Ma'am June and all the rest of us na vaccinated the living testimony nga wala kita nagsumbi. Wala man kita na ano. So,
So,
we are, kaya amo na siyang mga issues dira nga masumbi kita kung ma-vaccine kita. So, kung we are trying to appeal nga please kindly help us in the campaign because we really need help in the campaign. Damo pagid sa aton nalambuton and we really wanted to reach this target ang 1.8 million naton. So thank you, Gid, and thank you for all the listeners. Kabay pa nga you will help us out. We really need your
yes.
help. Hindi na mo ni makaya kung kami lang nga sa taga health ang matrabaho sini. And
Thank
thank
you,
you man
Ma'am
sa
Jen.
inyong
No?
mga
Ikida
help
naman
na nga
Makati
ginhatag
may
sa
award.
amin.
May award pa sa imo. But really thank you for sharing your time with us. I know may mga vaccination program pa ka mga hikuton. And well, kung sa kampanya lang, makakampanya man kami. Pero kinalan ang supply tara ba no kay really gaka-frustrate man ang iba nato nga gusto magpabakuna. So siguro yatag tato sa mga gusto magpabakuna, ang hindi magpabakuna tagaan ta sila anay time to really process information and to get to know their other friends and relatives nga nabakunahan na no. Of course sa subong wala man niya pilitay. But I think ang latest ko nung nga news is that ang laban nga deaths and because of the latest ni balang variant no though kadamo sa ila ang mga unvaccinated. So padayon kita mag-keep safe lang no. So we'd like to call on our PCW chair Attorney Andre Lizaresi to award the certificate of appreciation to Miss Jenny. Yes, Attorney C.
Hello, Jenny, and thank you, Gid,
Good
sa pag
morning.
Good morning. Thank you, Gid, sa pag-intra mo di sa aton sa kuano nga forum sa Midyear kay do amo gini ka isa ka dako nga nga issue subong ang COVID kag ang vaccination. So may na kay na batian man naton ang imo nga presentation. So basahon ko ang aton nga certificate. The Province of Negros Occidental Provincial Council for Women presents this certificate of appreciation to Ms. Jenny Dalia Saron for providing us with much needed information about vaccines in general and COVID-19 vaccines in particular. Thank you for helping to create spaces where the women of Negros can feel safe at this time when we are surrounded by uncertainty, fear, and loss. Truly, your sharing contributed greatly to the success of the Provincial Council for Women's Midyear Forum, Safe Spaces para sa Negrosanon, given in the city of Bacolod this 29th day of September 2021, signed by Honorable Rita Gatuslao as Chair on Women and Children, and myself as Chair of the PCW. Again, thank you, and we wish you all the best and keep safe sa inyo na mga frontliners. Maybe you can join the afternoon session kami ara kami kuan man no, may grupo man kami for frontliners. Arandang link sa Facebook page nila sa and then I would like to invite before we close, I would like to invite our participants to fill up the survey form that the link is there sa aton nga Facebook page ng PCW no nga flash daw sa PCW and God Allies nga Facebook page. And the link will be sent to you no so you can join the afternoon forum. Kung hindi magid kamo ya mag-fill up sang survey form, ara man da ang link sa Zoom sa Facebook na page, okay? So please we look forward to seeing you this afternoon kay para makapautwas kita tanan kung gusto ta magpa-vaccinate na gid or hindi kita magpa-vaccinate or kung ano man da aton kung ano makapautwas chan sa tanan this afternoon. So please join us this afternoon.
Yes,
So
and
thank you
I
again.
hope yes, Jay, and I hope may documentation no ang kada groups para we can also use it sa aton future nga mga programs.
Yeah.
Thank you. So, Attorney C, thank you. Ma'am Jenny, thank you so much. I'd like to turn over this virtual stage to our friendly and able and always ready to accept our request, Miss Red Don Laurenti of Nolitsi.
Thank you, Miss June, Miss Saron of PHO, and Attorney C for that very informative session. Truly, this has been a safe and amazing morning for all of us. To all our guests and speakers, the former Supreme Chief Justice Maria Lourdes Sereno, Governor Bong Lacson, Board Member Rita Gatuslao, Miss Jenny Saron of the Provincial Health Office, Miss Marlie Garcia of PSWDO, our Provincial Council for Women, Chair, Attorney Andrea Lizarisi. Thank you so much. Vice Chair, Miss Mary Ann Colmenares, Miss Joy Harabello, and Miss Joy Limshaco, and of course to our very active and very supportive Action Officer of the Provincial Gender and Development Focal Point System, Miss Marijon P. Castro. Thank you so much for your time and insights shared. And of course, to all of our participants and virtual audience, thank you for being active online. Knowledge is truly proud to be part of this momentous program this morning. And on behalf of our very supportive and very innovative vocational school administrator, Dr. Maria Cristina Orbicido, who is also serving as our production director this morning, and to Miss Sally Carman Trio, who provided the technical support. We would like to thank and congratulate the Provincial Council for Women for coming up with this valuable activity, the Midyear Forum with the theme, Safe Spaces para sa Negrosanons. This concludes our virtual event. Join us again this afternoon for the continuation of this forum. We will be having the breakout session. If you have completed the survey and the online attendance, you should be able to receive the link to the Zoom conference. We will end this session with Knowledge's Gender and Development Advocacy video. This is Red again, your host for today, reminding you to take care of yourselves and one another. Knowledge inspire, Knowledge cares, make women change. Avance, Negrense.